What's up, guys? Let me know that you can hear me loud and clear when you come in and that you can see me. Let me put up the chat. Loud and clear? Cool. I'm going to put you guys up on the chat over here. All right, man. We got a lot to talk about. A lot's been going on in the sport of boxing. And if you love boxing like I do, you're going to want to pay attention to what I'm about to say here today. Trust me. Well, in the sport of boxing, right, we talk about a lot of things changing. I made this show, and I know a lot of YouTube channels are always talking about a lot of the corruption in boxing, all these interim belts and shit, and some of the rules. And we start to ask for change, right? But when change happens, we want to fight it. We want to fight change when it actually happens. Case in point, what's going on with Frank Martin and Tank Davis right now? Okay. A lot of YouTube channels went to social media real quick and started accusing Tank Davis of putting a 10-pound rehydration claw on Frank the Ghost Martin, and that he's using the same tactic that he used on Ryan Garcia to try to weight drain him, right? Okay. I want to touch on 2 points about this when I explain it. I'm going to come back. I need to touch 2 points. So they started quickly accusing Tank Davis of putting in a rehydration claw, etc., X, Y, and Z. And in the contract, there's a renegotiation contract so that if Tank Davis is to lose, he gets a rematch. But if um Frank the Ghost Martin lose, no rematch. Okay. All right. And that's championship shit, and also protecting the star status of Javante Tank Davis. You're going to have to beat him twice type thing. Okay. And we all know that going into most championship fights, you're typically going to have to fight the champion twice. Okay. So when all that came out, quickly everybody started jumping all over Javante Tank Davis. Then I looked into it and I found out that this rule is coming from the WBA, from their organization. You know what they're doing? They're implementing the same rule that the IBF has for a 10-pound rehydration claw. If you want to fight for the IBF, since the beginning of time, I from as long as I can remember, there's always a 10-pound weight claw for this belt. The reason why that's put in place, because the IBF is saying, bro, if you don't belong in this division, stop trying to weight drain 25 pounds to fight much littler guys. Why don't you move up? You see? So this thing that happened with Ryan Garcia missing the 4 pounds, whatever, and ironically, it's not like Ryan Garcia is the first boxer in the world to miss weight by 3.5 pounds. There have been many fighters that have missed weight by way more than that. Okay? But all of a sudden, Ryan Garcia misses weight. Now everybody's blaming Ryan Garcia for this new rule, right? Now they're trying to call it the Ryan Garcia rule, where that the WBA has put in place starting, I guess this from the Frank and Tank Martin fight, or anybody that fight for their belt from here on in, there's going to be a 10-pound rehydration claw. Now, let me explain to you how that works. The 10-pound rehydration claw for a belt, not for one in a contract, for one in a belt, because there's 2 different things. When the WBA issues this, you have to make weight that day. The next day, the following morning at 9 o'clock, you got to get on that scale. When you get on that scale, you cannot be over the 10-pound weight limit. So let's just keep it, let's just keep it fair, real quick. I know Gervonta Davis fights at 135, but I'm going to use 140. So, we can just do the math. So if you weigh in at 140, the next morning at 9 o'clock, you can't pass 150. You can't weigh 151. But, okay, when Gervonta Davis weighs in and Frank the Ghost Martin weigh in 135, the next morning at 9 o'clock, they can only weigh up to 145, right? But after they weigh in the second time, they're cleared to put on any more weight they can. They can start a second rehydration process and even gain more weight going into the fight. Yes, but you must make the deadline for 9 o'clock in the morning, and you cannot be over those 10 pounds, which it kind of, it kind of shows you that by putting that rule in place, those guys got to be roughly around that size naturally. And then in order to do that correctly, to rehydrate again, you don't want to make your guys sluggish. So you don't want to put on too much weight. Remember, so you guys in shape at this weight. So what the boxing organizations are starting to do is they're starting to realize, listen, from now on, all these bigger guys trying to kill themselves, weight draining 25 pounds just to cut a division to win a belt, we're going to eliminate all that shit. So now the WBA has adopted the IBF's rule. And from what I'm being told, it's just a matter of time before the WBC does the same thing and the WBO does the same thing. It's just a matter of time. All these belts are about to put in 10-pound rehydration clause so that it eliminates a lot of the weight bullying. Bro, if you don't belong here, you don't belong here. Ryan Garcia should have never been fighting at 140, 3 fights that he couldn't make. So they're starting to see that. So they see that this rule, listen, if you think a guy can do this, fight in, fight out, it's not beneficial for him to cut so much weight. He's going to go in there and he's going to be weight drained and deplenished and he's going to get knocked out, bro. That's what's going to happen. So they're going to force the fighters to really fight in their own weight classes. And then in the beginning, when the story broke, they were all calling Tank Davis a cheater and that this is what he needs to do to weight drain guys in order to beat him. That was the story they were putting out. When everybody found out what was truly happening, that it was out of Tank Davis's control, that this weight thing was being brought down by the major sanctioning bodies, and Tank Davis was informed, and Frank the Ghost Martin was informed, this has nothing to do with Tank Davis. We're doing this for now, here on in. So if you win the belt, here's the new rules to obtain this title. And this is how it's going to be. These are the new rule structures. Okay? All right. What I wanted to talk about, my second point in this was they were all ready to call Tank Davis a cheater, trying to weight drain people. Now that they found out that the WBA issued it, Frank Martin's going, well, this is boxing. I got to deal with it. Now, it's no problem for him to make it if the WBA did it. But if Tank Davis did it, right, it was a problem. And let's just remember that Frank the Ghost Martin is not a 135-pounder. No, he started his career at 140. As a matter of fact, he has most of his fights up there towards 140. He recently cut down to 135 to try to go down and what? Weight bully the division. And ironically, they're trying to tell Tank Davis. You see, because Tank Davis is doing it right. If you ask me, Tank Davis don't even belong in 135. He belongs in 130. But he's not a really big guy. And if You just want to be the bigger guy and just go in there and try to bulldoze and wait Billy, the little guy, to be a champion. Tank Davis is saying, if you're big enough, why don't you go up and fight at 140, 147? Your natural weight, where you have fought. What are you doing in 135, Frank the Ghost Martin? Because he thinks shit was sweet down there, and there was a couple big names you could probably, just cut it down. So, the sanctioning bodies are starting to tighten up, and these are the type of things we as fans we ask for. We ask for, no more like a lot of interim belts and guys being weight bullied in the division. What are we going to do about it? Well, this is one of the things you can do. You could put a 10-pound rehydration clause. And if your guy doesn't belong here, he should just move up to the next weight division. He's outgrown this one. So it's going to make it a little bit more of a playing field. And these are the rules initially that the IBF saw a long time ago and had this rule. Now the other major sanctioning bodies are seeing why it works. Because the guys that are their champions are like Tyson Matias. He's a natural 140-pound champion. He doesn't walk too far away from that. A 20, 30 pound. Yeah, well, when you're off, whatever, but he's right around that ballpark. That's what he is, and that's why he has no problem making the weight, making the rehydration clause, and representing their belt and being their champion, Tyson Matias, because that's what he is. You see? So don't be surprised in the leading month, one by one, the WBC and the WBO also implement that rule. Because as you can see, there's already two belts in the same thing because they're tired of it. They're tired of it, What's up, Richie? How you doing? Smash the like buttons, guys. What's up, Frontline? How you doing, baby? Every sanctioning body should have the same rules, right? You would think they do, right? But that's what happened. That's what must have happened in the beginning when all these belts spun off each other. Okay. It was the WBA first. They were running the way they wanted to run it. And there was other people, other players who were like, we don't like how you're doing shit. We understand your structure. And the WBC was formed, right? When they formed the WBC, they changed the rules for fighters and global. See, the WBA was basically like America, and guys would have to fly in type thing. The WBA is the one that kind of made it a global sport, and that's why they put their flags around of every continent and every country's flag, So, and then when they introduced that, these guys adapted it. That it would be the world champion. IBF spun off from there, and the WBO was the last one. It took them a long time to be recognized as a major sanctioning body. So each player, if they were all the same rules, I guess we would only have one belt, right? You know what I mean? But now that we have four, they need to come together as one and make a collective one set of rules. I agree. They all learned how to build. They all learned how to market business. I think it's time, and I'm in agreement with you on that. I believe it's time for all four major sanctioning bodies to sit down and make one set of rules for all the belts. I think we're there. All four major sanctioning bodies have established themselves. They should get inside of a room, agree among themselves which ones they want, which ones they don't, and by the time they walk out of that room, they should have one rule structure. Now, as far as the rules in each country, unfortunately, I don't think you can pull that off. because you would you would definitely need every entity to coincide and work together. And I don't see that happening. Boxing in Chile, Peru, you get Australia, Russia, China, Japan, Ukraine. There's boxing matches going all around the world. And the way they have it set out is, you got the major sanctioning bodies, but none of the referees or the judges are assigned to them. They work with them, but they're actually an outside source. So that way, you don't have no favorite referee. Like the WBC can't put WBC referees in the ring. That would be bias. You see what I'm saying? So, it has to be somebody that's not connected to none of these people, that doesn't care which sanctioning body wins. That's why you had to have it like that. And back in the days, like I can imagine, like in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, when the gangsters and the mobsters were involved in boxing, like really, really, really deep, they would announce the heavyweight champion. And foolishly enough, in the newspaper, in the New York Times, they would announce the referee. And the gangsters would show up at the referee's house, talk about, yo, we need to talk to you. Homeboy, listen, we make sure he wins. You know what I mean? So they stop announcing the referee. That's why they don't announce the referees and judges until the day of the fight. Then, they fly them in or whatever. Shit like that. And they fly in like 3 refs sometimes. And out of the 3 men, no one knows who's going to host the main event. And then hours into the fight, they pick one. Bam. Type shit. You can't get to them. You know what I mean? Type shit like that. But these are the changes that boxing little by little is starting to implement. And I think it's good for the sport. I think it's good for the sport. It kind of puts it on a even playing field where that, let's stop this weight bullying so much. If this is really your weight division, then damn it, fighting your weight division, like that. Yeah. All champions fights should not be held in any of the boxing's hometown either, to avoid favoritism. That unfortunately is a no-no. I can't agree to that one, because that would be me saying don't allow you to probably make the biggest payday of your career. A homecoming is usually when you get the most support from you as being a champion. Then you're gonna pack the house, typically. You know what I mean? Uh, and then I think it should be up to your choice. But if you are fighting in your home country, I believe the way they're doing it right now is pretty good. You can't have a referee of the same race. None of the judges can be of the same race. So, and they're outside picked, like that. So you might have the crowd on your favor, but you definitely should not have the referee or your people, you know what I'm saying, like that, right? But in some cases, like Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia the other night, right? That was Ryan Garcia agreeing to shit he shouldn't be agreeing to. When they asked Ryan Garcia, hey, can we have the ref? And Ryan said, yeah, I pick out the gloves. Okay, you pick out the ring size. Okay, you pick, like that. That's what they were doing, type shit. But yeah, it should be even. Like Naoya Inoue fought in Tokyo, Japan, and the referee wasn't Japanese, was he? No. So yeah. Bam Bam, how you doing, baby? How you doing? Hey, corrupted. What's up, man? Listen, he did play himself in this whole thing, because truthfully, if he tries to get this overturned for a win, you're not going to want the criticism that's going to come along with that win. That's kind of like LeBron James beating his chest over that bubble ring. Bro, half the NBA wasn't playing. Some of the teams were out. You can't get credit for that bubble ring. I mean, it's a nice little piece of jewelry, but other than that, that's not a full season. Are you gonna give him credit for that bubble ring? Nobody gives him credit for that ring, bro. We all know what that bubble ring is. Come on, man. That's just trying to get closer to MJ type shit. Nah. And Devin Haney doesn't want this, bro. He doesn't want the criticism that's gonna come with that kind of victory. Look, if you ask me, right, I don't think they're going to take another step further until they officially resolve the Ryan Garcia drug test. I don't think they should take a step further on acting in any decision or making any kind of decision towards the victory, taking it away, DQ. I don't think they should touch that yet. They have to come to the bottom. They have to prove to the world, also to me, because I'm covering the sport. I gotta know. Is he a cheater or is he not a cheater? I need to know, right? Because it's important. Because it's gonna change my view on which way I want it. I'm gonna want to approach this. Because if Ryan's a cheater, then he's a fucking cheater, bro. If he's not a cheater, well then let's see what happened, right? But I can guarantee you, once that B sample is cracked, we're gonna get some questions answered. When you go in front of a court judge and you got all the bro, this is not fucking TV, man. People think that this road, everybody just walks around with manila envelopes filled with money and we just pass it and everybody just agrees. No, 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 no. There are people that are in this court system that live, breathe their job. You know those people, them hard nosed, I'm gonna get my guy type people. You can't buy those kind of people. They don't care who the fuck Ryan Garcia is. All they know, they're gonna bury him. They're gonna bury him. They're doing their best to try to bury that kid. And all the shit he said about fucking evil people and people, he might have pissed off the wrong type of people. They're going to try to bury this kid, right? But I think they're going to have to say what's in his blood, okay? And they're going to have to prove it. So if they prove that he had trace amounts, then he didn't cheat. He didn't cheat. He will get suspended, but he didn't cheat. There's a difference. Okay. So if he didn't cheat, he had trace amounts and it didn't help him, then Devin Haney should take the O. Ryan Garcia should keep the win and they should suspend him for, putting a pee in his body, but unwillingly. But it's still its fault. But it wasn't something that it gave him an advantage. Okay, all right. But now, if the test comes back and the test says, no, Ryan Garcia, first of all, you did a cycle and you were coming off your cycle, and this is what you were taking to come off your cycle. Because in the blood work, they're going to be able to tell everything in his system. And I mean everything. They're not stupid, bro. Whatever he did in whatever form with malicious intent to try to get an advantage, trust me when I tell you, they're going to find out. There's no way around it. Ryan Garcia is going to get picked apart if he cheated. Oh, yes, he is. Okay? They're going to be able to tell you. So if the court themselves come out and say, well, yeah, we see this shit was like 60 billionths of a gram, that means the judge is going to say, how much is that? And the judge is going to say, well, did it give him any benefits? Yeah, would have it. Just in any case, just maybe. Is there a possibility it would have given him an edge? And if they're like, no, then damn it, what the fuck is it? He's just he took a tainted substance then. Drinking a tainted substance is a real thing. There has been athletes in the world that went to GMC, bought something, read the label, it didn't have Arshadine in it, they took it, and sure enough, it had it. Is that guy a cheater? Is that girl a cheater? a person that really took it, the dietary substance, and that shit was in it. Just like VADA made the announcement. VADA themselves announced it to the world months, years prior back. They were telling people, yo, this has been coming out in a lot of dietary substance, and sometimes it's on the label and sometimes it's not on the label. And these dietary substances are filled with this stuff, right? And you're gonna pop dirty for it. So if legitimate is legitimate, this is what I'm saying. Legit, the kid did it on accident and he wasn't a cheater. Would you like to be called a cheater? But now if he cheated, I'm telling you, they're going to find out. They're going to say everything he did. They know. You think Garcia is the first person they ever tested on steroids or the first sad story they ever heard? You think Ryan Garcia is the first person that tried to beat a steroid committee? They got way better, smarter people than Ryan Garcia trying to beat them things, and they can't because it's going to be in his blood. They're going to be able to determine everything. Every step he took, every time he put it in his body, it's going to come up. So that's what happens with that. And once you deem what happened, whether he's a cheater or he's not, let's find that out. Once you find that out, then I'll tell you my decision on what they should do with Devin Haney in his case. Or for instance, if they find out that Ryan Garcia cheated and he maliciously put this shit in his system to get an advantage, or that he was cycling off a fucking cycle, and that's why it was coming out trace amounts, because he was coming off of something. They can tell because they're going to be able to tell in his body. The chart's going to read like, it's going to go, he was coming off, and it's going to spike up because the blood is going to be good for like 7-8 years of his life. The hair follicles like 20 years, but your blood is like 7-8 strong years. They can tell you everything you did 5-6 years ago. So it's going to be able to tell if he's coming off, because at some point it's going to spike up. They're going to be like, nope, you were using it hardcore right around this time. And what was happening was you were coming off of it, Mr. Ryan Garcia. They're going to tell him that. But if it shows it was just like, boop, then come on, guys. You know what I'm saying? Then I can't be like, yeah, he's a fucking cheater. Nah, man. I'm like, all right, cool. Because I know that these steroid dudes are not on Ryan's side. And they want his head on their plaque in their office. They want to be the agent that beats his chest. Bro, got one. That's their fucking awards in the steroid world. What do you think they talk about all day as agents that test steroid athletes? I wish a motherfucker would use steroids today. I'm just waiting to bag a motherfucker with some roids today. Oh, he hit a home run. Grab the bag. Get on a flight. We're going to go test him. Yo, that's all they do. They just want to bag an athlete. That's what they live for. That's their job. What you think is catch and release? Nah, they ain't releasing Ryan. Yeah. Got a little spell check there. So, yeah, man, so everything's going to come out in the wash is what I'm saying. It's all going to come out, guys. Trust me when I tell you, everything's going to come out. Yeah, I don't really need the B sample to come back, because I already know Ryan Garcia is dirty. That I already know. What I'm just waiting for the B sample to come back is finally tell us, how dirty is he? How? And where did this come from? As you can see, the dude that wrote it all up, he was like a fucking hard ass, right? And the reason why I know that the guy that wrote it up was trying to write up everything possible for Ryan Garcia, because had it been a veteran guy that did that test, when the Nanjalong 19 popped up in Ryan's system, all the steroid testers, like the OGs that have been doing this for a long time, they know that your body produces that naturally. And after a certain number, if you don't pass that number, that means that your body is producing that. But they have a number that if it exceeds that number, then you're putting it in your body. And out of the two steroids, the Nangelo 19 was the most hardcore one. Now, if you had that shit, you trust me when I tell you, go look that steroid up. Tell me what you think. If he really had that shit, the 19 one in his system, he was fucked, bro, right? Anyway, but the guy that wrote up the paperwork knew that. He knew that. He knew the Nanjalong number amount was just built in your body. But you think he didn't write that shit down? Because he knew it was going to be leaked to the press. He knew what name this test was attached to and what it was going to cause. He didn't care that later it was going to get people, the top guys were going to say, bro, the Nangelo 19 that you got is not testing higher. Take that off. That's natural from his body. Okay. Oops, my bag. But look whose name got put to it. How many people were saying he didn't get test positive for one, but for two? How many times, how many people did they get to say that? He didn't test positive for one PE, but for two PEs. And yo, the brothers was yelling it from rooftops until they came out and said, calm down, calm down. It was built in his system. So, but he is positive for one. Then the tune quickly changed. Well, all right, but at least one. It test positive for one. That lets me believe that the guy that was doing the tests was really trying to stick it to Ryan. Yeah, because he knew that he didn't have to write that down. He knew that came in your body naturally, and it was at the right level. And he said, well, it's there. I'm gonna write it down. They're gonna take it off anyway later. But this is Ryan Garcia. And look at everything that they did to the kid. Because the story was two, remember? So now they're going to say, oh, they made two steroids all of a sudden disappear from Ryan Garcia's body. First of all, there was never two. And that asshole in the initial report put that down, knowing that that was just a natural body from that level down. And I know that. And I know that. So you see how hard up they have it for the kid. Bro, these guys are not on your side. Whatever athlete, they can fucking take away their fucking career, their stats. Yo, they get a hard on for that. You mean to tell me I'm going to take away your entire life work? And the world's going to look at you like a cheater? And my name is going to be on the guy that busted you. He's like a Fed. Come on, man. They ain't trying to help Ryan. They ain't trying to help Ryan on nothing. They just want to smoke that kid. Yeah, they do. I can tell by all the paperwork they wrote. I was like, that's like getting that court case, right? You did one crime, you walk in, they read off 47 charges. Don't they try to beef it up? The cop writes everything from under the sun. And then the judge drops all the bullshit ones and let's get right down to business to what actually you did. You know, but you got 47 fucking charges. That's what they did to Ryan with that test. That's exactly what they did to him. Trust me when I tell you. So now I just want, I know he's dirty. I know he's dirty. He popped. There's no question about that. Is he going to get a suspension? 100%. Unfortunately, 100%. Because that rule was put in by all the committees, the steroid committees around the entire world. Every baseball athlete, every football, basketball, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever athlete that competes, if you do not give Ryan Garcia a sanction, you would have to go back and rechange all the rules in every major sport just to get Ryan out of this. They're not going to want to do that. Who the fuck is Ryan Garcia to change the rule for every sport in America? under the guidelines of using steroids, which means you are responsible for what goes into your body. Period. That's the rule. In order to get him out, you're gonna set free get the fuck out of here, bro. He's gonna go down for. He needs to be more careful about what you put in your own body. If you didn't know what was in that bottle, unfortunate young man, you shouldn't have took it. If you went to the GMC and said, well, I looked on the bottle, this is GMC. It doesn't say steroid on the bottle. It says weight cutter, weight thinner, and let me look on the package. No oxidine on this. Safe to take. Wrong. Wrong. That could be tainted. There could be oxidine in that bottle and not on the label. And you can pop dirty. Whose fault is that? That's your fault. You should have never took that. If you didn't know exactly what was in that bottle and you didn't have that bottle tested, it is not like you have to have the bottle tested and alert USADA that you're trying to take a weight cutter. No, you don't have to do that. Aren't you a millionaire? Ain't there labs like you can send it to you yourself, unbeknownst to the steroid people? It's not like you got to go to them. I'm pretty sure you could have whatever's in this bottle tested. Google.com, test my bottle. Right? I'm pretty sure you can find a doctor that can test that for you. And he'll be able to tell you what's in it. And that's what you should do. And that's what they're saying you need to do. So other than that, there's no way out of it for Ryan. Unfortunately, it's whether or not did he do it with intent or without intent. That's where I'm at. That's all I want to know. There's nothing else to talk about with that. So as the Tyson Fury goes right now, yeah, they say Fury took it. No, they're not saying Fury took steroids. Fury did take steroids, a PE. He's on the list. He's right on the list, next to Saul Canelo Alvarez, Roy Jones Jr., okay? They're right next to each other on said list, and they will never be removed. Canelo Alvarez is right next to him. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people on that list. Okay, and you'll be surprised of the boxers, the names that are on the list. You can Google any steroid list anytime you want. It's public record. They're not going to lie to you. That's how they shame you. That's how they shame you. They let you know every athlete ever. And listen, as a matter of fact, next year's copy, Ryan Garcia will be on the list. And it would be up to you to determine if he's a cheater. Now, I'm going to remind you, Saul Canelo Alvarez took his to court. And in front of a judge, he proved with his doctors that it was a tainted supplements and that he got no benefits from it on fight night. He proved it. You know that the judge awarded him the victory and they reduced his suspension. They deemed him not a cheater, but he did take in a banned substance. You do know that, right? And he won it in court. His name is still on the list. You know that, right? Just because you beat it in court doesn't mean your name's not going on the list. Saul Canelo Alvarez is on a list of men and women that use PEs in a sport. Yes, he is. And he's never getting off that list. And when he goes to get inducted into the Hall of Fame, he's going to have a problem. He's going to have a hiccup. He'll get in. I don't think in the first time. No, I don't think in the first time. He'll go through that due process type shit. He's going to fight it for about 20 years. And eventually they'll let him in. Saul. Eventually they'll let him in. But he's not getting in the first one. Not with that on you. Even though he'll have the paperwork, trust me, it's going to be a process. You know? Listen, Pete Rose. Oh, my God. What a career he threw away for fucking gambling. Cheater. Banned out of the Hall of Fame. My God, he's the greatest fucking baseball player of all time, I think. and he'll never be in the Hall of Fame. Guys just don't want to throw away their career and their legacy for testing positive on a PE. The honor of your name being submitted against in the building with some of the men and women, that privilege taken away from you. That's what I would have been fighting for legacy. You tarnish my legacy. Listen, it's one thing to talk shit about me, talk shit about my wife, my kids, everything else. But don't talk shit about my fucking legacy. What it took me a lifetime to achieve. That's my life's work. Are you fucking kidding me? You fuck with my life work, bro. I will come to your gym. Don't worry, you don't gotta find me. I'll come find you. You don't gotta find me. No, you don't play with a man's life's work. That's what I live for. If you don't have anything in your life that you hold dearly like that, I suggest you try living for something other than yourself, some truly love. If you're just going around like I used to, and it was right in front of my face. And then I fell in love with boxing once again. And I truly understood, now I do, the beauty behind it all. And the hard work. And man, listen, that it takes just to win one world title, man. And you're going to come on and say, I took steroids? Bro, don't even mumble. Don't play with me like that. Don't. I might forgive you for other shit talking and some deep, hardcore shit talking than you coming and taking a shot at what, man, listen, I would take that so personal because I would stand by my career. I'm not going down as a PE user. No, I did it the right way. I don't give a fuck. Mm-mm. Nah, I've never used a PE in my life. I never thought about cheating. Nothing. In fact, it kind of like um I used to have this obsession with always wanting to play against the best in anything, whether it was basketball, football, handball, whatever it was. I was usually talking shit to that guy. That way he would whoop my ass. Why? Because I know if I keep playing against him, eventually I'm gonna beat him. I'm gonna figure him out. And then I'll get that much better and whatever it was. Bro, I would never stop talking shit to those dudes. Nah. And my boys, yo, I used to hate those dudes I get on the court with. Oh, we fucking lost. Why we lose? Oh, look at they got the college kids. Who gives a fuck about the college kids? Bring that. What? I'm in their face like, what? What? Bring that over here. Like, yo, like, I don't listen. I'm crazy like that because, no, but truth be told, I'm not even joking. I'm not even making that up. Like, that's how I was. That's how I was. I wanted to beat the best dude in the handball game or in the baseball game or whatever it was because I was like, bro, I could beat him. In my head, I was saying I'm better than him, even if I wasn't. I don't care. I didn't fucking care. I was like, nah, I'm better than him, no matter what. Yo voy a mí all the time. That's it. I'm going. I bet on myself. That's all. It's just. I guess that's how I was. I don't know if everybody thinks like that, but I guess I always believed that that's how kind of mindset you had to have. You know, um, you know, if you went into a fight, I was once told one time, if you go into a fight thinking for your opponent, you're thinking too much for him. Like when I was younger and shit, I would be like, man, I don't want to hit this guy because I don't want to get him mad. Man, fuck getting him mad. You better handle your business. And then it was like, well, all right, if you're gonna beat me, well then take this with you. You know what I mean? Take this with you, like type shit, right? And it was just a mindset I think of that I eventually over time. It wasn't like that for me. I heard one dude say this, and I saw one guy perform this way, and as it started clicking, rather than always living in fear, become the hunter. Rather than you always thinking, oh, he's gonna, I'm thinking for him. Like, let the nature take its course. Don't think for him. And if you hit him with some good shots and you see you didn't hurt him, don't think for him like, damn, I didn't even hurt him. No, your mindset got to be like, I got a couple more right here, just like that, waiting for you. They got your name on it. Come on, big boy. Boop, 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 boop. There you go. You want some more? I got some more. I got plenty of it. It's right here. You got to have that kind of mindset. You can't allow to go inward and fear start to set in. Once doubt and fear starts to set in a fight, you're going to start to doubt yourself. You're going to start to go backwards. You're going to stop fighting. You have settled in the fact that now you're scared. And I've been in situations like that. I've been scared before. I've been in situations where I didn't perform the way I wanted to. I've been there. And I learned from that. And I realized that sometimes you can't negotiate with things. You cowering or being more fear, sometimes it makes your aggressor even more aggressive. You cowering away makes him more aggressive. He might have not slapped you if you kind of stood your ground, but it was like, okay, I'm good. But the more you aggressed, he's now he just knows he could smack you and get away with it. And it's gonna boost his fear. That's just like you're in an argument with somebody, three dudes are standing in front of you. As long as you cool, you standing there. Regardless, you getting jumped, right? But if you stand your ground, you got them at a stalemate for a little bit. Let's see where it goes from here. But if you was to take off running, it's gonna make them chase you. It's on now. It's on. You see? Don't run. Stay, you know what I'm saying? They gotta be thinking you crazy, right? You stand there like this. Sometimes you got to do that. So you can't let fear creep in. Some situations are what they are. And when you're in a boxing ring, it's not like you can just get out the ring and leave. No, that's why you must maintain a superior mindset until the fight is over. You can't check out in the middle of the fight. That's not going to work out for you. You got to stay focused, dialed in. Remember why you're there. Remember all your training, what you were meant to do. Some real Karate Kid Miyagi shit. You know what I'm saying? Remember, wax on, wax off. You know what I'm saying? You got to stay in focus. Sometimes when I'm playing like a game or some shit like that, or I'm even doing a sport, there's a certain point in the game that I kind of drift off. I'm like playing video games or something, right? And like in the beginning, I'm like rocking. I'm rocking. I'm just cutting through dudes. Actually, I'm getting killed more. But anyway, I'm still rocking in my head, right? I'm rocking, right? But and then there's some point in the game where like I just lose focus and I snap out of it. I'm like, damn, we're playing hardpoint? Like, and it's like half the game's gone, and I didn't even realize I'm running in the side of the map. I'm that guy that's in the back of the map, and your teammates yelling, "What the fuck is he doing?" Like I lost focus. I lost focus. I gotta remember, wax on, wax off. I gotta get my head back in the game. That's what you gotta do. You gotta keep yourself in the fight. You see, you can't allow yourself to. So that's why, when I speak about mental fortitude, it comes with a combination of a lot of things. Remember what you're there to do. Remember, and that's why you train so that you don't have to think about certain things. You don't have to remind yourself to breathe. Like, breathe, kid, breathe, kid. No, if you were training right, you wouldn't have to remind yourself about that. So that's one thing you don't have to worry about. Believe in your training. You see? Which will allow you to think in other things. Now, if you're not in shape, those are things you're going to start thinking about. Oh, shit, I'm getting tired. Oh, shit, I'm not hurting him. Oh, shit. You're thinking about a lot of other things that normal fighters are not thinking about anymore. They've learned to shut that shit off. And they learned how to focus and think about the things that are necessary in the fight so that you're not thinking about all this other outside shit. Especially you're not thinking about in the ring, his boy sucker punching you from the side, because there ain't no boy in the ring. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't got to worry about that. Yeah, and you just concentrate on him. So that's the purity of some of this, like, the mental part of it all. You think so, Matias? By like 8, 9, 10, that's where I see him stopping Liam Paro, yeah. But I also see the same thing that Subriel does to a lot of his guys. By the fourth, fifth round, they're pretty battered. It's if they can make it at past the six. Only a couple of them have. And I'm talking about the guys that the last five he made quit. The last five he made quit. He had a couple of them go deep into the fight. Yeah, but the rest, he shut them dudes down within 6 rounds. Within 6 rounds. Listen, Ponce was battered the midway through of the third round. You would have thought it was the ninth round. Yeah, these guys are taking a lot of damage from this dude early. And when you and remarkably, Ponce threw the more punches in the first round. And I think he outlanded Subriel in that first round. Subriel hit him with some big shots at closing in that round. And in the second round, he just took over. He took over the fight. And listen, Ponce was, man, I was impressed by the volume of Ponce's punches, and I knew that they hurt. I had seen some of his fights. Jake up there, what's his name? The other dude, the one that had beat him the first time and he fought him the second time. He Wow, that guy was strong. And the way Subriel just picked him apart, it was almost like truly, truly, truly. When I watch Subriel's fights, I say to myself, is he fucking with me? Is Subriel fucking with me, bro? Because he actually looks like he's having fun. He actually looks like this is just a fucking walk in the park. And it doesn't really look like his face expression is changing. And the guy in front of him, no matter how good he is just not good enough. And I'm like, fucking Subriel, bro. He's just, listen, he's walking in there like this. Boom, 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 ba, 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 boom, 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 ba. And I'm just like, bro, every time the guy would like push off of him, he'd have this smirk in his face, like, time to make the donuts. Like he was just walking up to the dude. And I'm like, he's just fucking enjoying himself way too much. Like, this is like a fucking vacation for this guy. Like, he is truly like a monster. Like, and I'm like, okay, I can see how big his warrior spirit is. I can see his heart and his determination. It's on full display. And as far as his skills go, I see the type of fighter that he is. Interesting enough, is he the best version of that style fight? I would like to see. I would like to see. I've seen many men fight that particular way. But in the end, somebody catches up to those guys, I got to admit. Could Subriel be him? Could Subriel be that one that truly mastered that style and had all the attributes to effectively pull that style off and that to be the king of that style of fighting? There were a lot of men that try to pull that style off. They just didn't have all the attributes. They weren't big in stature of a man. Some fought like that, but they didn't have length. They were short armed fighters. That's why they fought in the inside, because they had short arms. But surprisingly, Subriel Matias has a crazy reach. He can hit you from a long distance. And that's why I say his style, he doesn't have to fight this way. This is the way he mastered it. And that's what I speak of. Is he the one that out of all the men we've seen carry out that kind of style, is he him? Is he him? I want to find out. I truly believe he is the most natural 140 pound that we have right now. He's the most dangerous out of all of them. Tio, surprisingly, because of all his antics, people don't want to take him as serious. And because of his roller coasters of performances, they haven't been. It wasn't like Tio early stages of Tio when he was like dominant, right? It's more been like luck lasted performance, good performance, luck lasted performance, good performance, type shit like that. So he's really not really on that like ride where he's like putting out all these dominant performances. But I gotta admit, Teal's one of the more craftiest of the 140-pound champions. Is that with all his bullshit, we're starting to forget who he is. For some reason, he does show up in the big fights and he does a lot of crafty shit. It's gonna take someone, you know, tough, a little smart, and to get into Tio's head, you can beat him. You get into Tio's head, you got him. Because all the men that were able to get inside of his head, and he doesn't know how to control his mental part. Because you can beat a George Camboza, he just couldn't put it together in his head. He just kept running out there trying to get that knockout to get him out of there. Yeah, and it didn't pay off for him. But yeah. What did it say? I'm seeing this one like all the all the content creators act like the Tank fight is the only fight on June 15th. Yeah, they do. They are acting like that because a lot of these content creators have one vision and one goal in mind, and I understand where it all started from, giving the brothers their just due. And I was all for that. I'm all for that. But some of these guys saw clicks and views and likes as well, and it corrupted themselves as a YouTube channel. So now it's basically copy, press, print. When you see one, it's like watching the other one. You click on they're talking about the same exact story, the same exact time. They all kind of like follow each other like that, right? And me, I come on, I talk about all the top stories in the world of boxing. A lot of the stories I'm always talking about is because they're at the top of the headlines. And this is what people are talking about. But people are talking about Subriel Matias on June 15th, you know, um, and this is where shit divides us in a sense, right? Because had it not been for Tank Davis, you see how they was pushing out Subriel Matias. As soon as Tank Davis doubled back and officially made June 15th the date, they're going with what they're gonna get clicks and likes and views. And what the other boxing gods are basically telling them what to say. They're like, look, we want you to talk about this, or we want you to talk about that. I don't work with anybody. I'm not hired by anybody. I'm free to speak whatever I want. Eventually I know somebody's going to come talk to me. You know why? Because I'm the damn best. And pretty soon I'm going to leave all these dudes in the dust. And listen, I don't care what they do. You know why? I am the show. You know what I'm saying? And here at Round One Sports Talk, we bring nothing but facts. And I'm just going to always stay the same. You know what I mean? I know I can build this show. I know I have been building this show, and I'm gonna be successful on this show. And since I made it, I'm my boss. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna keep it like that. But when you when you have ties and guys go on your show and you get interviews to a lot of boxers, and you start building relationships, sometimes these guys are not going to want to destroy these reasons. And I understand that. I understand that everything in life is based on relationships to come to, if you want to be honest, you have to have relationships with somebody in this game, so, uh, you know, I never know if I'll be in situations where, I'll be more inclined to support a fighter or to back them up a sense. But one thing I will not do is show a fighter bias or favoritism in the ring, because I've spoke about this. It doesn't, you're not, it doesn't work out for you. It shouldn't anyway, right? If I go on saying that somebody's a hype job or something like that, and that guy goes out there and smashes everybody, what's that going to make me look like? If I tell you that this guy's going to win the fight and he goes out there and gets knocked out, what is that going to make my show look like? It doesn't do anything to this lie, because just case in point, all those channels the brothers got and a lot of other dudes got, that all called Naoya Inoue a hype job just a year ago, before the Stephen Kubo Fulton fight, in fact. Remember when he was fighting Paul Butler? That's where it all started from. That he's this big hype job. And look at all those guys that put out that narrative. What are they saying now? They're still acting like they're giving him credit. Oh, yeah, he's the best. He's the best. But if he wants to be the best, he has to come down to America. Like if they almost said something intelligent. What do you mean come to America? You act like the minute he comes into America, all his competition is going to turn black. What are you talking about? All his competition is going to be the same dudes in his weight division as they're going to be in Japan and in America. It's going to be the same fight, bro. His competition is not going to change. Fight in America to prove your bro. The guys that he's knocking out in Japan would be the same exact guys he would knock out in the US. If he could beat him in Japan, I'm pretty sure he's going to beat him in the US. It's not like they're going to turn all into American fighters the minute he steps into America. It almost sounds like they said something intelligent. Almost. Come to America to prove yourself. Bro, it doesn't matter if he fights on the moon. What are you talking about? He's still beating the guys in his division. He comes to America and they all turn into American all of a sudden. Every guy in his division turns into a bunch of killers. The midget he steps in. Nah, man, get the fuck out of here. But it almost sounds like he says something, So Naoya Inoue is going to continue to be Naoya Inoue. They fucked up. They already let him kick open the front door. He calls his own shots now. Yeah, they fucked up. Too many people signed up too fast to fight him. Everybody thought they were going to beat him, and they all fell into the same trap. That's why I say he has the best disguise in all of boxing. The way he looks, his appearance has a small part to do with his success. If he looked like his name, a lot of guys would have avoided him. He probably wouldn't have got all those goddamn title shots one after another. They legitimately took a look at him and was like, hell yeah, I'll fight that guy. Everybody thought they were going to whoop his ass. And that's what got him a lot of those fights, bro. Trust me when I tell you. Trust me. And now everybody's like, it took people a long time. Yo, he kept knocking people out. The next fighter, nah, they weren't buying it. They didn't believe it. Nah, he did that to you, not to me. Boop, 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 boop. Next. He did that to you, not to me. Boop, 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 boop. Next. Bro. And then now everybody's like, wait a minute. He's the truth. He's the real deal. Y'all motherfuckers, this dude's a real killer. So Yeah. The only reason why a lot of people are calling his name out now is because what he has to offer. Bro, you're not losing your belt. You don't have any belts. He has them all. Right? And if you fight and beat him, bro, you have a chance of getting all four belts. Luis Pantera Nari was the first man in boxing to knock him down a few Saturdays ago, right? Or this past Saturday, whenever it was, right? Right? And I'm going to tell you right now, his stock is going to go up for that knockdown. Oh, you better believe it. Even in that loss against the Japanese superstar, Luis Pantera Nari's stock, I guarantee it, is going to go through the roof for scoring that knockdown on that Japanese dude. Similar to like Esau Pitbull Cruz losing to Tank Davis. Kind of like that. You know what I'm saying? Esau Pitbull Cruz's career went this way after a loss. And Luis Pantera Nari, I have a feeling, is going to get similar treatment because he dropped that. Look at, now everybody's definitely going to call the Japanese dude's name. He's got a target on his back. Bro, that's like catching a leprechaun. All the gold. You know what I'm saying? You just got to beat one guy. Are you fucking kidding me? And then look at the size of the one guy you got to beat. You're like, bro, I think I could do it. I think I could do it. You know? They all get fucking shocked. They all get their ass whooped. They're starting to see that he is the definition of a boxer. He is what they call dedicated to the sport. He is truly, truly a pioneer of the sport of boxing, right? And he's just doing that at a level. I mean, for God's sake, he did it 3 times back to back to back. He went into the ring with Stephen Kubo Fulton. No sooner did he knock him out, Marlon Tapales walks in the ring, I'll fight you in 6 months. Knocks him out, walks in the ring, I'll fight Luis Nari. Knocks him out, he walks into the ring, I'll fight you. The rate that he's doing it, like, our guys really need to look at this and be like, wait a minute, come on. Boo Boo Schuster Carrington is a fight that I would have liked to see the Naoya kid fight in the future. Not right now. Not right now. I don't, for as tough as Boo Boo, he ain't never going to admit it. He's always going to bet it himself. And that's what you should do as a fighter, right? But I'm on this side and I could just speak freely. And Boo Boo's not ready for Naoya Inoue right now. No, no, no. Boo Boo's good. He's not Naoya Inoue good. You know what I mean? He looks good against those kind of opponents. Those guys are nowhere near the level. I mean, look, just think about it rationally. Just rationalize in your head. If the guys Boo Boo Schuster is fighting are not even in the top 20, right? Top 15 in the world. None of them have ever had belts in the world, right? Okay. That means his competition is C level at best. C plus maybe. That's the best competition he's ever fought against. The Japanese guy is fighting world champion after world champion. His last 3 fights, he fought 3 world champions. 2 of them were unified world champions. 2 of them. So his last 2 fights, he fought 2 unified world champions and a former world champion. They're not on the same level, man. And Boo Boo is one of my favorite top prospects. But they're not ready for a fighter like that. Like Naoya Inoue. They're not. But in time they will be. I just give Bruce Stu Carrington some real time. Let that kid get some real time, some real experience, and then we'll double back and talk about that fight. You know what I mean? Let's see what happens in the future. You know, like the Abdullah Madison, bro. I think he's like one of the top prospects I got my eye on. There was this kid one time. I forgot whose card. His name was Kid Kansas. He fought. Yo, and I was hearing the shots of that kid's punch. His name was Kid Kansas. And he hit this dude with a body shot that it like echoed. It went pow. I was like, God. I was like, so there's a couple nice young prospects that are coming up, and we'll see. We'll see what in stores from Mr. Naoya in a way, because I love boxing and I love competition. If he's the best, I want to see somebody come up and fight the best. And I want to see somebody challenge him. And I want to see somebody push him. That's what competition is. I don't have any favorites. I like to see fights. And I like to see the true best fight. Not somebody well managed. Not one guy that hopped over this guy, skipped that guy, fought this guy, well managed type fighter. Not those guys. I'm talking about the best of the best. And this is about as good as it's going to get. Terrence Crawford, fighting against Israel. I got to admit, look, what is going on? I got ambulance trucks, everything outside of my house. Oh, they're going to my neighbor's house. I hope my neighbor's okay. Something happened to the old couple over there. I don't know. I hope everything's okay. But where was I? Sheesh. I saw all the lights. It just right there. What it says? That was a great fight. The Jukin Bay fight. That fight with Tyson Matias was in so many different ways. That was the kind of fight that speaks to you as a fighter. When I went to watch that fight, I knew coming in that was the guy that beat you, allegedly. And as a fighter, you got to get over that. You got to get over that and you got to win the fight. It takes a special kind of man to look over a loss and fight the same guy that beat you. And then depending how the fight goes, you know what I mean? There's different in kind of a ass whooping opinion. There's what Terrence Crawford did to Errol Spence Jr., and then there's what Ryan Garcia did to Devin Haney. That's two different ass whoopings. You know what I mean? It's not the same. So Subria goes into this fight, and I got to admit that he looked better in the fight. He looked stronger. He had better confidence. It was something inside of him, in his face during the fight, that he had supreme confidence in the fight. He was Tommy Dame, Tommy Dame, Tommy Dame, Tommy Dame. He didn't want to take a step backwards. He wanted to show that guy, bro, that win, that was a fluke, baby. That wasn't the best version of myself. I'm going to show you tonight who I am. He hurt that man. Did you see his arms flare when he hit him? Yo, that shot sounded like a fucking shotgun, kid. It went, yo, it sounds so solid. When he hit him, he was like, yo, his whole shit rocked back. And at that moment, I knew he had him. I knew he had him leading up into that moment. He was breaking him down, like chopping him down like a tree. And look at what round that was. That's why I say, by the third, fourth round, usually, typically, I think that the fights are going to start breaking out mostly around the fourth round. But by the fourth round, in a lot of Subria Matias fights, these guys look like they've been in 10-round fight already. Yeah, they battered already by the fourth round. I was noticing that. And I was like, shit. So when fighters like Liam Paro are free to do what they want in front of their guy, now they're on their toes, they're snapping the jab, You know, they're in and out. They're ducking underneath your shots. They're counting off for you. The night's going their way. If you allow Liam Paro to do that, he'll do that to you all night. And he's probably going to whoop your ass. Yeah. But what happens when the night's not going your way? You have this relentless pressure and you're fighting going backwards. You're going to start to fatigue earlier, a lot earlier in the fight than you normally traditionally would have gassed out. Ian Paro might find himself in a situation like I repeat, like all freaking Subria Matias opponents. At some point in the fight, they stop running and they divert all their left energy into a forward attack. They kind of like say to themselves, you know, I'm getting weaker, he's getting stronger. If I got any chance to win in this fight, I need to sit down in my punches, make him respect me, and back Subriel off of me. And they stand their ground. Boop. And that's it. That's it. It's just a matter of time from that moment. And Subriel, he's for so far 100% of the time, every man try to do that to him, he stopped them 100% of the time. What's going to make me think that the fight's going to go any other way? Every one of his fights ended the same fucking way. 100% knockout ratio. There isn't no evidence to say otherwise. You understand? He didn't get the name the Boogeyman because he wasn't terrorizing the division. That's exactly why they gave him the name the Boogeyman, because he was terrorizing that weight division. So I have nothing else to go on but what he did. And at some point, mark my words, Liam Paro is going to be put in a situation where that he's going to stand in front of him. And trust me when I tell you, it's just a matter of time. Ben, what you saying, baby? George, it's on at IQ. You can only run for so long, front line. And where are you going to hide? What, you going to make a tent in the corner? He's going to go inside there, zipper it up. Matias is going to come running over there. Yo, knocking on the tent. The guy's going to open it. Zzz. No boxer here. No, I don't know where he go. He might go that way. Zip. He ain't coming out that tent. He hiding from Subriel. Subriel looking for you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yo, um, it's just that look, I like Liam Paro. I think he's a good, strong fighter. I've watched his fights, I've studied him, you know, and I just think that Subriel has already been battle tested by guys like this, but none of those guys are Liam Paro. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's their own individual. I would like to see what Liam Paro is gonna do, you know, and I want to see how he looks against Subriel and how well he takes Subriel's punches. I mean, that's going to determine a lot right there. You know, how long can he take this beating from Subriel? How long? You know what I mean? I just think that Subriel Matias is really preparing to give the island of Puerto Rico a show. I think Subriel Matias is going to give us that wow moment. He's a very exciting fighter, electrifying. He is rocking a 100% knockout ratio. So if you like to see knockouts in a fight, the guy I would probably want to watch would be the guy with the 100% knockout ratio. 100% of the time, he's knocked someone out. I might want to watch his fight. If I'm looking for blood, knockout, and excitement, well, I came to the right place. That's June 15th in Puerto Rico with Subriel Matias versus Liam Paro. This is champion versus champion. Liam Paro is the WBO global champion of the world, meaning he does have a belt, an interim belt that he brings into the equation. Okay, Subriel Matias is the IBF 140-pound champion, while Liam Paro is the IBF 100, the WBO 140-pound global champion for the WBO 140. See where that Tank Davis is the newly acquired email champion, and I'm not bashing Tank Davis. These are just facts. He hasn't won that belt in the ring. He didn't beat anybody for that belt. Technically, he's the interim champion coming into this fight. By beating Frank the Ghost Martin, will solidify him as the super champion of the WBA. Not until he beats Frank the Ghost Martin. And Frank the Ghost Martin has never fought for a world title. And he doesn't have an interim belt at all. So the toughest thing in the Tank Davis fight, if you want to be 100% honest, they're bringing an interim belt into that fight. That is it. With the opportunity to be the owner of the real belt on the outcome of said fight. They both stand to have the opportunity to win the WBA regular. But as of right now, none of them are really considered the WBA regular champion because Tank Davis got that email to him. But in the Subriel Matias fight, we have an illegitimate, real world champion. The real IBF world champion. And Liam Paro is the real WBO global world champion. So, I'm not shitting on neither of them, but those are the truth. Those are the facts. And if I was being honest, that's not downing any of these guys. That's legitimately the truth. Why would I hide from the truth? Right? So I expect to see a great fight either way. Tank Davis is fighting the Frank the Ghost Martin. I think Frank the Ghost Martin is much bigger than Tank Davis, but I think Tank Davis is a much better skilled fighter. I think Tank Davis has a better ring IQ, and I think that Frank the Ghost Martin, sheer will and determination, the size of a man's heart, could play a factor into the fight. But I truly believe when it comes to combat sport, it comes to the more intelligent, the man that worked the hardest, the man that put the most hours in the gym is usually the guy that's did his homework, and the man that studied his opponent. Whoever did their homework the best is going to be the one that wins that fight. I think Frank is an amazing fighter, but I think he's just a little too stiff for my liking against a guy such as skilled as Tank Davis. You know what I mean? And I think Tank hits definitely the hardest out of the two. We're about to find out. We're about to find out about that card. But look, fight fans, as for myself, I just love the Subriel Matias fight in a lot of different ways because it's at the one, if not the hottest weight division in all of boxing right now. The weight division that's on the most fire right now in all of boxing is the 140. It's the 140. It's just been, there's just a lot of big names that are there. Ryan Garcia now is starting to move up, but you still got the Tios there, the Devin Haney's, the Subriels. You still got the Josh Taylor that was formerly had all four belts, and he's still in the division. There's a lot of still top guys that are in that division. Now, the 154-pound is quickly going to become. Did you guys see what happened with Sebastian Fundora, right? Oh man, listen, guys. I'll talk about that on another day, another story. Probably tomorrow I'm gonna come on. We're gonna address all that shit because I'm gonna need some time to break down some things. I gotta explain some things in that too, and I've already been talking for quite some time here already. So I don't just keep breaking up things that I'll talk. I'll be talking for another fucking hour on that one, right? So let's just keep it with Subrir today, and what we were talking about with Ryan and everything. You know, boxing we're gonna have tomorrow for it, right? I want to talk about that though. Tomorrow I'm gonna talk about it tomorrow. So the 154-pound weight division is getting really interesting. And then now you got Virgil Ortiz Jr. finally fighting some of the top guys too as well. He's rocking 100% knockout ratio. So I want to see how good that knockout ratio holds up against a fighter such as Tim Tszyu. We're about to find out. We are about to find out. And as soon as this is Subria Matias gets past Liam Paro, and I'm telling you, the minute he gets past Liam Paro, I guarantee you, there won't be one of them dudes take to social media, right, and ask for the next fight with him. I want to look at. They're all talking tough right now, all of them. Nah, I'm not afraid of Subria Matias. I think he's soft. I think he's the weakest 140-pound champion in the world. While he has a fight schedule, I hear that all day. I'm telling you, I'm going to be in Puerto Rico, right? Soon as I come back, right? I'm going to scour the fucking internet for days on end. And every day, I'm going to check in and I'm going to report. I'm going to see where y'all at. I want to see the next guy that calls him out. And let's see if it's a guy that's worthy, because anybody can call you out, to try to get a free ride to the top off your hard work. Any I don't want no fucking low guy, right? Yeah, Supriya, I'll fight. No, we're not looking for that kind of fight for him. I want the top guys to open their mouths. You know who we want. You know exactly who we want. The Tios, the Devons. You know who we want. Isa, it's competition, baby. If you're in my weight division, puppy, I like you, respect you, but you're food too. Unfortunately, you're food too. Okay? Whoever has the belts. And that's what I'm talking about. I want Subriel to start heading in to those fights because one, his age is concerning with me. He's at the ripe age of 31. Subriel is in his prime. And if he's going to make a run for these belts, I think it would be now. I think Subriel has already fought some of the top guys and he beat some of those impressive guys down there. I think his time has come to really make that run for the belts. And let's see if these guys are really about it. It seems like they have a lot to say when he has a fight scheduled. Let's see what happens when he doesn't have a fight scheduled. I want to see if these same guys are the same champions. I want to see if Tio gets on and says, Puerto Ricans? Oh, they're easy. Put them in front of me and I'll beat them. I want to see that same energy from Tio. And if I could, on the day he knocks this dude out, the next day I wake up, I'd call both of them, have them on my show. And I would like to, hey, Tio, can you do me a favor? Could you repeat what you said to Supriel? He's right there. That's what I would like to see. You know what I'm saying? I heard that His Excellency wants Naoya Inoue versus Tank Davis in the near future. And when I heard that, that's kind of like what got me to talk about that in some of my videos in the, you know, I like made some videos like 5, 6 videos ago, some shit like that, maybe a little longer. And I talked about the possibility of Tank Davis being the one to fight Naoya Inoue. And I said to myself, listen, you guys, Tank Davis is a natural 130 pounder. He's a little dude. He can make that kind of weight. And for that kind of money to make him really train, Naoya Inoue gains a little, he loses a little. There could be a catch weight they can meet each other somewhere around there. But you would also, I didn't think it would be a catch weight after I thought about it. And no sooner that I said that out my mouth, I realized he doesn't fight at catch weights. He only fights for world titles. So Gervonta Davis would have to go to 130 and they would have to make it for somebody's world title, or Gervonta would have to secure a world title and then the Japanese guy move in. He's on an impressive record of 23 consecutive world title fights in a row. That's a record he's not going to break. He wasn't willing to break that record to acclimate himself to the division, meaning if he moved up from 115 to 118, if he wanted to break that record, he didn't have to fight the champion right away. He could have fought a nobody just to, get acclimated to the division. But he used the champions as tune-up fights. That's what he used. So you mean to tell me a man's going to make that kind of record? It's going to take him over 10 years to accomplish that. And just to please the Saudi prince, you're willing to give all that up for money? Naoya Inoue made $6.7 million versus Louis Pantera Nari in Japan. $6.7 million. That's what he made. He's not doing this because he needs 90, $100 billion. No, he's doing this for legacy, record, and when it's all said and done, where's he going to stand among the legends? So he's definitely not fighting at a catch weight. And if he's going to fight Gervonta Tank Davis, if that fight was ever possible, I guarantee you any major sanctioning body will figure a way to strip one of those champions to make a vacate belt so that they can fight for it. They're basically going to be like, man, get your punk ass out of here. You weren't that good of a champion anyway. Yeah, we got Naoya and Tank fighting for this belt right here. Like, you know what I mean? Because they're going to need a real world champion. They're going to need a real belt. Or they ain't going to have no real fight. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or I said that another man that was even smaller and that can even make the weight even better would have been Loma. I think Loma can make 126. Yeah, he's a natural 130, 126 pounder. No Loma. And I think he can still make that weight right now. And I thought that he could fight the Japanese superstar at 126 or something, even. Yeah, I'd probably be 130, but even 120. I know Loma can make 126. I know it. I know he can. Yeah. So the Loma fight with Naoya Inoue and the Tank Davis fight. Now, as you can see, the Saudi prince had threw around that $69 million to get him to go out to Saudi to fight somebody else. And that $69 million was rumored just before the Luis Pantera Nari fight. He gets out of the ring. He ain't talking about going to Saudi Arabia, is he? For no $69 million. He's talking about fighting Sam Goodman in Australia. You know what I'm saying? So the Saudi prince couldn't entice him with the money. And I don't think he could get Tank to agree to it either. But as a future fight, with that much money, eventually you'll get your way. Maybe not at the real pinnacle of his career. Once Naoya Inoue accomplished what he needed to accomplish, and he broke the records he needed to break, he might fight him. I don't know. But if you can get it for a legit world title and get Gervonta down there, he might just do it. Even though I think Gervonta might be a little too much for Naoya in a way. Yeah, I think Gervonta Tank Davis might just be a thicker stature man. You know, he's little, but his fucking head is like this. He looks like a tank. His fucking, you know what I'm saying? He's just a thick 5'5". He's not like your skinnier 5'5", like Naoya Inoue. And Javante has already proven he can knock out big dudes. I've never seen him knock out anybody, you know, over 125, 130. I've never seen him knock out anybody that big. And I've seen Javante Davis knock out Mario Barrio when Mario Barrio came into that fight, 168. 168. And Tank Davis knocked him the fuck out. He hits too hard. He hits too hard. And I think he has the kind of power that actually back the Japanese dude up. And plus, he's acclimated to fighting bigger guys. This Japanese dude, he's never fought anybody like that size. He has a lot of skill. But as you can see, even when you have skill, there's going to become a point where size is too much. Just like Devin Haney found out against Ryan Garcia. For all the skill Devin Haney had, he couldn't pull nothing out of his bag. Those shots that he was taking, bro, it was taking 2 and 3 rounds to get the buzzing to stop. He was just hitting them too hard. It would make you shell up. You're not gonna want to throw because you don't want what's coming back. You know, and at a certain point, Devin Haney's skill didn't save him. That's what they'll do to him. At a certain point, no. But the great, like fucking elite fighters, like the Mayweathers, they fought the big guys and they knew how to deal with power, speed, and they worked around that. He might be able to work around Tank Davis. He could have. The problem is he's a fucking samurai. And the only thing that Naoya knows how to do is go forward. He intelligently, but he's not going to bitch up in the fight with Tank. He's not going to hide from Tank. Tank doesn't need to find him in the ring at all. He's going to go looking for Tank. He's going to meet Tank. And if Tank wants to start meeting him power with power, you know how many times I've seen him stand in the middle of the ring with the guy and go punch for punch with him? If you want to go shot with, he'll do it all day with you. He did it with almost every fighter that ever decided to stand and slug with him. Luis Nari the other night decided to do the same thing in the 5th round. And 30 seconds into that 5th round, you know, 30 seconds into the exchange, Luis Nari went backwards. He didn't want to do it anymore. It was a good idea going in it. And then all of a sudden, he was boom, boom, boom. Nari's like, all right, I had enough. No, them shits hurt. He's like, I had enough. You see what I'm saying? So it's not like, you know, and then I think that's what's going to get him in trouble. He's going to go out there looking for Tank, and he's going to try to slug. You know, at first he's going to be intelligent. Tank's going to hit him with something. It's going to wobble him, or not even wobble him. Might hit him hard. Then traditionally, you know, everybody that hit him hard, he comes in your face to show you, nah, you ain't backing me up. And that's when he starts slugging it out with dudes. I've seen him do that. And I think in those exchanges, Tank just might be the bigger puncher. And that's it because of the fact of where he's been his entire career. Based on that, based on the fact that he's dropped a lot of big dudes already, you know, he's been in the ring with much bigger punchers. You know, I think that Naoya Inoue does hit hard, but that is something I would 100% have to see until they get in the ring. How Tank's power, if it could push Tank Davis back, and would he bring his power with him? And would it put him on a playing field that now Tank Davis is reluctant to go in because Tank Davis is saying, damn, this motherfucker hit hard. That I would actually have to see. I have no data on that. I do not know exactly what weight division they would fight in. These are a lot of things I would have to know because everything comes into a factor at that point. What size are you saying we're putting them in? What are we working with here? So, yeah. Is there a weight drain contract in it? Is there a 10-pound rehydrate? Because you are fighting Tank Davis. Nah, let me stop. Right. Hey, throw that in there, right? you know. But no. All jokes aside, we would have to find out all the details, and then I would be able to give you my full analysis on exactly how and why, and what I see. So yeah. No wonder. Edwin, what time you come on? What time do I come on for what? Every day? I haven't made like a set time, but I've been meaning like to ask you guys like when would be a good time for me to come on every day? Um Hold up. What the fuck is going on with my I also have the lights, microphone, speaker, and 200 watts. What? Let me read everything you guys were saying. The song is what are you guys talking about here? Now I gotta catch up to y'all. And today, for some reason, my message is acting funny. Yeah, that's all they have is like 2 fights left. Something like that. Uh, Nario will move up to 126 soon and pick up all belts one by one in a single year, 2025. Carl, I believe he has the opportunity to do so, and I believe he has the skills. But will the champion sign up to fight him? It's not like, let's just keep in mind here, Carl. It's not mandatory for the fighters that the champions have to fight him. That's basically top rank enticing the champions. Look, I'll pay you this much money if you'll fight them. And then it'll probably be the biggest payout they ever had in their career. Then they end up taking the fight. That's how that goes. But the champion has the right to deny the fight because of the fact that in order for you to become that champion's, you know, you would have to move up the rankings and stuff. And a champion can't fight for a vacant belt. You have to allow someone else to fight for it and then beat him for it. And you have to wait for him to agree to fight you. This major sanctioning body can't make that guy fight him. You can't do it. They got to agree. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This is where I went. Frontline was saying, what time do you come on daily, Edwin? What time do I come on daily? Every day I pop on between the hours of, I would like to come on ideally around 6 o'clock, 6:30. Every day I tell myself that, but it always comes up around fucking 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock before I can go on because I eat dinner around 6 o'clock. Right? So, but yeah, that's roughly around the time I want to get a general time frame so I could shoot every day. So I think that the one of the best times for me is probably going to be 8 o'clock, and I'm going to shoot for 8. And so I'm going to try to be 8 o'clock every day on 8 o'clock and just try to go on like that. And this new live shit that I've been doing for you guys, it used to be just videos, but I'm having so much fun kicking it with you guys. And since I'm a natural at doing this, I guess, like my people tell me, right? So I enjoy this. I enjoy having conversations rather than just doing a video and putting it out. But I'm exploring all avenues, of course. 7 Edwin, 8 Eastern Edwin. 8 is good, okay? Yeah. Then we'll do 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock front line, 8 o'clock. Yo, all right, listen. 8 o'clock it is. That's how we gonna do it then. I'm gonna commit and keep a dedication of fucking 8. They should have all agreed like Fulton did. Okay, case in point with Stephen Kubo Fulton, brother, right? When Stephen Kubo Fulton was told about the fight with Naoya Inoue, let's just remember him and Brandon Figueroa were about to move up to 126 and relive their fight again. They were going to hit the rematch. Remember, once upon a time, right? Then Naoya Inoue knocked on the door, right? He wasn't even in Stephen Kubo Fulton's division. He was in 118 pounds. How the fuck is the guy in 118 challenging me, right? And the way he did it was through the WBO. Because in the WBO structure, it's the only belt in boxing that allows you to challenge the next WBO champion in line at 122 from 118, which made him its mandatory, right? But Stephen Kubo Fulton also had the WBC title at the time. So before Naoya Inoue filled out the paperwork to force him to fight him, Stephen Kubo Fulton said, "You don't have to serve me with any paperwork. I'll fight you." He said, You don't gotta push me. I'll fight you." And bam. Oh, that's what's up. Thank you, Armando. In New York City, the award ceremony in New York City, yeah. Yeah, how much more fights do you want Loma to have at 37 right now? If he has two more fights, that's 38, 39. He would be even hitting his late 30s, going into his early 40s if you want him to stick around. Naoya Inoue should be leaving out of the 122-pound division, entering the 126 by the summer or the beginning of 2025. He's going to kick off the year, I think, by entering that. And I think he's going to stay true to his word when he said he's going to stay the entire 2024 that year at 122. So I think it looks like he's staying true to his word. And then if he's, and Naoya Inoue only said he's only fighting till he's 35. And I know he said that a long time ago in an interview. Boxers say things there. Things have a way of changing, but those are his goals. Those are his visions. So if any of these guys want to fight Naoya Inoue, and if they ever want to test their luck, and they want to see how they match up against a guy like this, one, make his weight. Two, get a title. And three, make yourself irrelevant to fight him. Because I've already seen the Naoya Inoue train go by so fast that if you're not there right now, it will pass you by. And he's not turning around. He just, you do so much in the sport of boxing to get yourself in position to be this kind of champion, to finally call your shots. You think that once you get in that position, now you're going to turn around to answer the guys that want a shot? Like you had it way back then with me, but you didn't stay the champion or irrelevant. Now I should just I should just do what you say. I should just turn around and fight you because you say so. Fuck what I did. Fuck that I got myself in this position to call my own shots. I should listen to you. Nah. Naoya anyway is going to do whatever he wants. And if he wants to fight Casamera, he'll fight him. If he wants to fight MJ, he'll fight him. It's not up to me. That's for sure. I can say whatever I want. I don't control Naoya anyway, and I got nothing to do with who he fights, right? So it's pretty much up to him now, you know? Or, like I said, get yourself something he wants, and and put yourself in his sights. Put yourself right there in his sights. See if that man doesn't fight you. But you got to make yourself at this point. He's also 31 years old, and he's not getting any younger. So you got 4 years, according to him, to catch this man, or he's walking out that front door. So Terrence Crawford has, I'd say, about a good 3 years in him, right? And I'm basing this off just his his performances, right? Coming off the last one with Arrow, he looked great. He didn't look like he lost his step. Usually you see that in a fighter where he lost his step. Like, okay, for instance, did Tyson Fury lose a step, or did he underestimate Francis Ngannou? Or were we watching the transition where it's that moment in a fighter's career where they lose a step or two? Or was it that? Are we really going to see the old Tyson Fury? Or was that it? And is Usyk going to come make it look easy? I'm going to tell you right now, Usyk's coming to fight. That much I know. Whether or not that was the real Tyson Fury, how people make excuses, right? Nah, I might have underestimated him a little bit. I might have taken him a little bit too light. You know what I'm saying? Don't read too much into that fight. Meanwhile, he was in the best shape of his life. He tried everything. He's just starting to slow down. That's what I wanted to know. You know what I mean? But in that fight with Tyson Fury and Usyk, I believe that one of key success for Tyson Fury, he's going to go to Usyk's body. Everybody knows that Usyk is weak to the body. Everybody on the planet Earth knows that. And if Tyson Fury wants to knock Usyk out, he will go strong to the body early and often. And it'll pay off in the later rounds as the fight. And then what Tyson wants to do is keep his foot on the outside, right? And keep circling this way and play off his shots and work the body that way. That might be able to open for Tyson Fury big uppercut. He has that big uppercut. Remember when he knocked out this dude? One shot, pushed him off, and he just rolled it. He was just like, bloop, out, right? So I believe that that's what Tyson is going to do, because he's going to want to target Usyk's midsection. And I just know that that's what he's going to want to do. I mean, listen, the whole world saw it. Time and time and time again. Every time Usyk was hurt, where was he hurt at? Not here. Every time I seen Usyk hurt, it was to the body. Every time a fighter surprised him, it was to the body. It would be real dumb for fucking Tyson Fury corner not to see something like that. And I would, they're world-class coaches, bro. They got to know that. So that's how I see it. And what I think Usyk's going to do, Usyk's going to rely mostly on his jab, trying to go up and downstairs, and he's going to try to surprise Tyson Fury with his volume punches. And what he's expecting is that Tyson Fury doesn't think that Usyk can crack as hard as he can crack. He still considers him a cruiserweight type shit, 205er, right? And Tyson's not like saying like he's a real heavyweight type shit. And I disagree with that, because I think he's well more past the point of acclimating to the heavyweight division. Usyk's a legitimate heavyweight right now. Okay, he's already fought big guys. He's been in there, slugged it out with some big dudes already. So he's ready. He's ready. There ain't no more ready than he's gonna be. So Tyson Fury, I hope you just don't think you're gonna walk through this guy's punches like he doesn't hit like no heavyweight, because that would be really foolish. Usyk is a real fucking threat. If not, you know, for me, it's a 50-50 fight. And when we watch the fight, we're all gonna get our predictions in. We're gonna see who wins. You know what I mean? You know how we do here at Round One Sports Talk. We have a blast. We get in. We get all our popcorn together. We watch the fight together, and we put in all our picks. And no one can make a pick as soon as the first round bell hits. If your picks are not in, wait for the next fight. That's it. Because we're not going to do that. Everybody has to have their picks in before we get into the fight on some free, fun shit with us. We all do here at family, so you know how we do. So we're going to get in. We're going to have fun on that day. And if you ask me, that's a really 50-50 fight. I don't know no more who every time I look at the fight, I see Usyk winning, I see Tyson winning. It's just so many different versions that I could see either guy winning the fight. I truly, because the way Usyk outboxed Anthony Joshua, you gotta give him that credit. Come on, man. I mean, Anthony Joshua, for a heavyweight boxer, that motherfucker can box for a heavyweight. And Usyk outboxed him not once but twice. And I was like, he's just a better boxer. You know what I mean? What if Uzyk's a little too fast for him and Tyson can't land that shot? And he makes Tyson look real long and tall and slow. I've seen that before when like lighter heavyweights come up and fight bigger heavyweights. One of the best heavyweight fights I've ever seen in my entire life, one of the greatest heavyweight fights I've ever seen, which the competition on both sides were like superior. And they're probably going to be two heavyweights you probably might not even heard of. Tua against Ike Ayabuchi. Ike, that's got to be one of the greatest heavyweight fights I've ever witnessed in my entire life. Tua. It's not Muhammad Ali. It's not someone like Lennox, like Mike Tyson. None of those guys. It wasn't Lennox Lewis. Wasn't Riddick Bowe. Wasn't Razor Rudd. None of them heavyweights. The greatest heavyweight fight I think I've ever seen in my life, as in skill, that they was just like, I mean, go check it out. Go check it out. Those two heavyweight men were fighting like, they weigh like 190 pounds. Maybe less. The way they were fighting those two guys from round 1 to round 12, I never seen anything like that in my life as heavyweights. The way they were moving, Ike Ayabuchi versus Tua. If you have the time, check out that heavyweight fight. Listen to you, ladies and gentlemen. I love you guys. It's always been a pleasure for me. I am your host, Edwin King Bungo. What happened? What happened, Boogie? Hold on, I gotta go all the way down now. Yo, Edwin. East Coast dude, West Coast dudes don't talk like that. West Coast dudes don't talk like that. That was a great fight. Yeah, it was. What happened that they don't talk like that? Why is this damn thing fucking stuck today, bro? They okay. What the fuck is microwave speakers? 120 watts. Oh yeah, you guys were talking about the songs and music. Bam, bam. Wow, that was too far up. All right, what about here? This shit just keeps spinning, bro. Stop. What the? I think the batteries are dying or something. Don't know about that. What? Yeah. Bro, I just yeah, that was a great fight. Tua was a bad dude. Yeah, he was. Yeah, I'm a East Coast, whatever that meant. I'm trying to get it, bro. But if you see my goddamn screen right now, your message is spinning like this. Now they're all the way at the top. Something's wrong with this. It's just spinning the messages for me. But I got them over here. But yeah, that's what I should have did from the beginning. We're from the East Coast. You guys are wild. Listen, fight fans, I love you guys. Check out that fight that I mentioned, man. You won't be disappointed. Trust me. It was a fucking massive fight, right? But, you know, I can't wait for this big showdown here. There's a couple good fights on the card. There's a lot of big fights coming up June 1st. Throughout the month of June, we have a lot of big fights. We're going to close up the month of May right now strong and entering into the next month. And like I said, fight fans, I can't wait to get there and we'll talk about it. Listen, please give the video a like. Share the videos. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Click the bell notification icon. It'll alert you when I go live. And like always, I'm on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. Peace. Love you guys. Thank you. An amazing show. I'll see you guys on the next one.